Someone once said, if you want to change your future, change your habits, because your habits create your future, and this story explains exactly why. One summer morning in Colorado, a wise old mentor named Mr. Walker was hiking through a forest trail with his student, Ryan Parker. Ryan was a smart young man with big dreams. He wanted success. He wanted financial freedom. He wanted a better life. But there was one problem. He struggled with bad habits. He procrastinated. He wasted time on social media. He often delayed important work. And deep down, he knew those habits were holding him back. As they walked through the forest, Mr. Walker suddenly stopped. Near the trail was a tiny green plant that had just started growing. Mr. Walker pointed at it and asked, "Ryan, can you pull that plant out of the ground?" Ryan smiled. Of course. He bent down, grabbed it with 2 fingers, and pulled it out instantly. The tiny plant came out effortlessly. Mr. Walker nodded. Good. Then they continued walking. A few minutes later, they came across a larger plant. It stood about 3 feet tall. Its roots had grown deeper into the soil. Mr. Walker stopped again. Now pull this one out. Ryan grabbed the plant. This time it took more effort. He had to pull harder. But after a few moments, the plant finally came out. Mr. Walker smiled. Very good. Without explaining anything, he continued down the trail. Ryan followed, wondering what lesson his mentor was trying to teach. After another stretch of walking, they discovered a much larger young tree. It stood nearly 8 feet tall. Its trunk was thick. Its roots were firmly planted underground. Mr. Walker pointed toward it. Pull this one out too. Ryan laughed nervously. This might take a while. He grabbed the trunk, pulled hard. Nothing happened. He tried again and again. Sweat formed on his forehead. After several exhausting attempts, he finally managed to loosen the roots and pull the tree from the ground. Breathing heavily, he looked at Mr. Walker proudly. See, I did it. Mr. Walker smiled but said nothing. Instead, he kept walking. Ryan was confused. Surely the lesson was over. But it wasn't. A few minutes later, they arrived in front of a giant oak tree. The tree towered above them. Its massive branches stretched toward the sky. Its roots had been growing deep underground for decades. Mr. Walker stopped. Then he pointed toward the tree. Now pull that one out. Ryan stared at him. Then he laughed. Mr. Walker, that's impossible. The old man raised an eyebrow. Why? Ryan shook his head. Because it's too big. The roots are too deep. It would take a whole team of people, maybe even machinery. I could spend all day trying and still fail. For the first time that day, Mr. Walker smiled widely. Exactly. Ryan suddenly became quiet. He sensed that the lesson was finally about to reveal itself. Mr. Walker placed a hand on the massive tree trunk. This tree wasn't always this big. Years ago, it was just a tiny plant. Back then, anyone could have removed it. But nobody did. So year after year, the roots grew deeper. The trunk grew stronger. And now removing it is incredibly difficult. Ryan nodded slowly. Then Mr. Walker looked directly into his eyes. Bad habits work the same way. Those words hit Ryan immediately. The old man continued. When a bad habit first appears, it's easy to remove. Maybe it's procrastination. Maybe it's laziness. Maybe it's negative thinking. Maybe it's wasting hours scrolling on your phone. At first it's small. It seems harmless. It doesn't look dangerous, but if you allow it to stay, it grows. Ryan listened carefully. Mr. Walker pointed at the giant tree. Eventually that habit becomes part of your identity. It develops roots. It controls your decisions. It controls your future. And one day, changing becomes extremely difficult. The forest became silent. Only the sound of wind moving through the trees remained. Ryan looked at the giant oak tree again. For the first time, he understood. This wasn't a lesson about trees. It was a lesson about life. Mr. Walker continued. Most people don't fail because they're untalented. They fail because they allow bad habits to grow for too long. They wait. They make excuses. They tell themselves they'll change tomorrow, but tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next year. And before they know it, the roots are too deep. Ryan lowered his head. He thought about his own habits. The procrastination, the distractions, the wasted time, the excuses, all the little things he had ignored. Suddenly, they didn't seem so small anymore. Mr. Walker smiled. The best time to remove a bad habit is when it's still small. Don't wait until it becomes a tree. That day changed Ryan's life. He stopped waiting for the perfect moment. He began making small changes immediately. Less procrastination, Less distraction, more discipline, more action, more consistency. At first, the changes seemed small, but over time, they transformed everything. Months later, Ryan became more productive, more focused, more successful, and it all started with one simple lesson in the forest, a lesson about a plant, a tree, and the habits that quietly shape our future. Moral of the story: bad habits are easiest to remove when they're small. The longer you keep them, the deeper their roots become. If you want a better future, don't wait. Pull out the bad habits today, before they become trees. So, how did you like this story? Leave a comment, and please like and subscribe to the channel.